What's going on, everybody? It is your boy Zamboni. I am a musician and astrologer, and it is time to talk about the astrology of the week ahead. As always, I thank you so very much for being here. Thank you for rocking with me day after day, week after week. Thank y'all so much for watching these forecasts. Appreciate you. Thank you for watching to the end. Thank you for sending it to a friend. These things help me a lot in the algorithm and all this kind of thing. Thank you so much for that. Thank you for going to zambonifong.com. You can get a reading. You can get a 10-minute reading like this, where I'll talk to the camera and sort of like break it down for you. This is a cheap and easy option. You can get a full hour reading on Zoom, where we talk to each other and sort of like break it down and sort of get into the depths of things. All of that is available at zambonifong.com. You can also find music there. You can also, this is the cover to some of my music. This is a breath exercise, which is also available on YouTube, Spotify, Tidal, Pandora, Apple Music, wherever you like to get your music at. Zamboni Fong music is pretty dope. I'm pretty excited about it. We got some new music coming out in a little bit, so keep your fingers crossed and keep your eyes peeled for that. There's a bunch of other stuff at zambonifong.com. Let's talk about the astrology of the week ahead. So this week, you know what? One of the things I like about this week is it is not as crunched as all the other stuff has been. We've seen a lot of major stuff taking place in the past few weeks. We've seen eclipses taking place, and we saw a Mars-Saturn conjunction, and we just saw a bunch of stuff. Jupiter, Uranus, and Taurus. We've seen Mercury retrograde throughout all of that. It's been extremely confusing and difficult and kind of tragic in a lot of ways, and gear grinding, frustrating, all that sort of stuff, right? That's been going on for a while. The good news is this week we get a full moon in Scorpio, and it is not eclipsed. That is to say that we are moving away from eclipse season. So it's not just all this eclipse stuff going on. Now, of course, eclipse things are ongoing for a 6-month period of time and all this sort of stuff. So like, we're not gonna not see the eclipse themes coming up anymore, but it's no longer the focal point. It's not going to be the main thing that we're doing anymore. We're going to get a regular old full moon in Scorpio this week. I like a full moon in Scorpio. It's like, it's kind of wild out here, but honestly, a full moon in Scorpio, a regular sized full moon in Scorpio, is a little less wild than some of the other things that we've seen. It's a regular, just debauchery moon, you know what I mean? Scorpio things are going to come up under this moon. Like to see that sort of stuff sometimes, Scorpio can be really sort of like interested in vengeance, or it has a long memory, or these kinds of things, right? But it's also very much interested in like how things feel, and how we can like feel in a sort of like sensory kind of way, but then also like how we make sense of the feelings and emotions that come through and this sort of stuff. Scorpio is very sensitive in this kind of way, and so I've got like strong Scorpio placements, so I get into this kind of thing. I like the full moon in Scorpio here for a couple of reasons. One of the reasons is that Mars who rules the full moon in Scorpio, is in Pisces, hanging out with Saturn for a while, right? But we're moving past that conjunction to Saturn and now moving into a conjunction with Neptune. This can chill Mars out a lot. Neptune is going to be the kind of illusions, delusions, imagination. Mercury or Neptune can be a little bit pacifying or anesthetic in some kind of way. There can be a situation where we're like, Neptune will tranquilize or chill you out in some kind of way. So there's been a lot of like really strong all Mars everything kind of things going on here, and we're still we are in a period of a lot of Mars. We've got a lot of Mars throughout this year, and after this week we're going to see Mars moving into Aries, which is going to move into domicile. It's going to be with the North Node there. The North Node tends to increase things, and so we're going to see a lot of Mars. But this week, Mars at the end of Pisces is going to be hanging out with Neptune, chilling. Like Neptune is likely to put a damper on some of that fire that Mars has, some of that Mars fire that we've seen. I'm into that. A little less Mars for a second could be cute. It could be a nice time to it could be a time to calm inflammation. It could be a time to sort of like do some things that are just a little chiller than some of the other stuff that we've been doing for a little while. It might be a time to just kind of calm things down in some kind of way, especially since we know that there is a next push coming. So to see Mars in this kind of situation does look like the kind of thing where we can kind of regroup a little bit. Like, we've seen a lot of crunch, and then now we can sort of process, get to how we feel about what's going on, and get to some of the like kind of plans for where we're going. Speaking of plans for where we're going, this week we're also going to see Mercury stationing direct. Yes, I know it has been a difficult time for a lot of people. There's been so much confusion, miscommunications, things being sent to the wrong place, wires getting crossed, all this type of stuff. To like arguments and fights, and none of the information is real, and all of this sort of stuff is going on, right? So to see Mercury stationing direct here looks like, so, you know, the idea that Mercury is moving forward again is cute. I like this idea. The other thing, it's late in the week though, and the thing about that is that means that Mercury is going to have to station again, right? So Mercury is going to stop. And so anytime that we see Mercury not moving in the sky, then we're still looking at delays and miscommunications. Mercury is not online. Mercury is not like heavy moving forward. Also, Mercury is on the north node at the moment of the station. So like this is likely to bring up another, like, a reevaluation of eclipse things. You see what I'm saying about how the eclipse stuff is like continually marching forward? There's still eclipse stuff that's going to go on, and as we see Mars moving into Aries, and we're going to see all that eclipse stuff coming up another time. But to be in this moment where Mercury is beginning to move forward and Mars is kind of chilling out a little bit, this gives us a moment where we can sort of think about how we're going to move forward, and then begin to actually put some of that into place, but from a different kind of vibe. It's important to remember that the sun has moved out of Aries at this point. The sun is in Taurus. What's up to all my Taurus people? Shout out to you. It's your birthday. It's your birthday. I see you. Hi. All right. So this, and actually, you know, I like this sun in Taurus here. I like the sun in Taurus generally. I think the sun does really well in Taurus. The sun likes a fixed sign whenever possible, and this kind of thing. The sun is very constant and consistent and does well in a fixed sign. But then also, as things move out of Aries and get away from kind of the mayhem that is associated with Aries, then so Jupiter hanging out in Taurus means that the sun is going to be with a benefic, and then in a little bit, then Venus is going to move into Taurus as well, and so that's going to put the sun in Taurus with actually 2 benefics, and not only 2 benefics, but averse to Mars in Aries once that happens. So like this is the sort of situation that looks less like all malefic everything, and more like, oh, okay, so we can work on some of these Taurus things. Big Taurus stuff has been happening. We've got this Jupiter-Uranus situation, which is still ongoing. Jupiter and Uranus both move pretty slowly, and so we have already seen the exact conjunction, but like there's still plenty going on here as far as Jupiter and Uranus is concerned. So now is a little moment for focusing on the Taurus things, and we've got these lunations that are taking place here in Scorpio and Taurus, and they are not eclipsed anymore. You may recall that we just came out of a series of eclipses in Scorpio and Taurus. So now to be not only not eclipse season right now, but also to get lunations that are not eclipsed in Scorpio and Taurus looks like a much sort of like more predictable and chill kind of environment, which Taurus seems to like for the most part. So we've got a major shift in the vibe this week, and it looks like a shift towards some kind of calm, some kind of like chilling, tranquilizing kind of effect. This is probably a good time to get a little bit of rest or do the things that feel good in some kind of way. So the things that like feel good in body and mind and soul and spirit and this kind of thing. You know, whenever I see a strong Neptune influence like Mars, who is going to be ruling this full moon in Scorpio, is hanging out with Neptune, then I often think about like escapist pleasures or art or this kind of thing. It's like a good way to take the things that might not necessarily have a strict name to them or that can be thought of as prosaic, and sort of processing them through art or music or this kind of like more poetic structure that then can help us to just kind of ground out a little bit. This is a good week week for grounding out in a big way for sure. Thank you so much for being here. There's a whole bunch more going on. Make sure and check out the dailies. As always, appreciate y'all. I'll see y'all on the flip.